And your questions are important, you know. The questions that come in for you, I really encourage you to live with those and to honor those. They're very, very important. The things that are like the thing that you're curious about, that's a key soul clue there. You know, we tend to have these kind of curiosities that drop into our life. We're wondering about certain things. Pay attention to that. Allow yourself to wonder. Allow yourself to be with questions. Allow yourself to live with questions without needing to know the answer right away. So when a question comes in, you let it drop in and you just let it live in you for a while. The mind wants to know the answer right away. But in order to get answers that are truly innovative, truly creative, and truly specific for you as a soul, you almost have to let these questions kind of percolate. You know, you have to live in them, let them come into your whole body. And then what you'll find is the answers will kind of float up. Maybe as you open one of these books, or maybe as you listen to a teaching one week, and it's like, oh, there's the answer. I was wondering about that. And I think that's kind of pointing me in the right direction. Or maybe it will come in a conversation you're having with someone, or in a dream, you know. So answers can come in so many different ways. But I think it takes letting go of trying to find the answer with the mind, or insisting that it comes in a certain period of time, but just opening and creating kind of this welcoming space for the answer to kind of build itself through you, and to come in a way that is specific and right for what it is that you need right now. Great. Okay. So what I would like to do now is to take us all through a guided meditation. And in this guided meditation, I'll be dropping in a question. So we'll get to that, and this will help us to kind of work with what I just spoke about. So make yourselves comfortable. If you're wearing glasses, it's always good to take those off. Glasses tend to activate the brain. And then as you allow your eyelids to close, you might notice that your awareness of your inner body becomes more acute. So when we cancel out the visual field, then all the energy that's spent seeing, looking, can go towards feeding other functions. So I encourage you to drop your attention to the bottom half of the body. So from your waist down, just let your attention rest there. Feel your buttocks resting on your chair. Feel the way your feet are touching the ground, or maybe they're not, maybe you're cross-legged. And by the way, I would recommend that you stay sitting upright for this. It's too likely that we fall asleep meditating at this time of the night. And meditation is a very awake, very alert state, although it's extremely relaxed as well. But by keeping our body upright, we keep just enough muscle tone that, and also the verticality of the spine keeps us in this place where we are that much more receptive to our inner world. And meditation is very rich in terms of, our connection with our inner world. And so our weight is resting on the parts of our body that are touching our chair. And we feel the sensations related to that, to our body giving itself down towards the earth. Great. And then bring your attention to the low belly and see if you can sense the movement of the breath there. And by the way, if you find yourself thinking, just notice that. Pick up the sound of my voice again and bring your attention back to your breath. So noticing how the breath is showing up in the belly. And just being with that simplicity, that calming rhythm, like an ocean wave flowing in and out. And let's practice presence by allowing everything to be just as it is. So as we notice the breath, it may feel long or short or open or restricted, strong or weak. But can we just notice without interfering, evaluating? And again, just bringing attention back to the belly when the mind gets active or the mind kind of tugs at your attention. And be kind to yourself. Be kind. There's no need to berate yourself for thinking. In fact, if you do that, it trains you to not catch yourself thinking, because something knows that it's going to be kind of punished. So just be gentle. It's like, oh, thinking again, back to the breath. During the day, daytime in our regular lives, we probably spend 95% of our attention on the mind and the stuff that's going through the mind. So to just sit here and suddenly ask it to stay in the belly is not an easy thing. It's like teaching a little puppy to sit. It just doesn't know at first. And so just like teaching a puppy to sit, you have to repeat over and over again, and maybe even reward it. It's the same thing for just training yourself to bring attention to the breath in the belly. And what we're essentially doing here is we are disconnecting attention from the mind. We're creating new pathways. Great. That's starting to feel a little more settled. Can you feel that in your system and in the shared field as well? So the beauty of 12 people sitting and meditating together is that we benefit from each other, irrespective of the fact that, we are in some cases thousands of miles apart. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So we tap into the energy of the shared field by doing this together, and we benefit from each other's intentions. Nice. Very nice. And so now expand your awareness to include not only the breath, but also the whole physical body. So what sensations do you feel? What's the overall feeling in your physical body? Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling tired? Can you feel your digestion? Is there joints that are kind of achy? What do you notice? And can you once again open to that, letting go of any kind of evaluation? It's just what's happening. It's just what you're noticing. That's all. And it's enough. You don't need to add to that. Beautiful. And now you can go ahead and include your mind to let it know that it's important too, and it's a part of your being. It just doesn't deserve 95% of your attention, but it can be acknowledged as a part of your being. So take your attention up to your mind and just notice. Does it feel busy? Does it feel like it's quieting? Does it feel tight or open? Are there any particular story grooves that are kind of coming back again and again? And we just notice that. The presence it without trying to stop those things, but also recognizing that we have a choice of not necessarily entertaining them. They're just kind of like blips going across the screen, right? That's great. Very nice. And then let's open our awareness to the emotional body. So noticing if there's an awareness of any feelings in the body, maybe residues from your day, maybe excitement, maybe a feeling that's been kind of familiar to you lately. Maybe you wake up with it every morning, or it just seems to be kind of following you around. Sometimes anxiety does that, or irritation, sadness. And so, who knows, it might be kind of a fairly strong and apparent emotion or feeling, or maybe it's just this kind of subtle feeling. And you can notice where it lives in your body. And also welcome it here. It's part of your being. It's part of what's presenting in this moment. And while we may not understand why, we give it the benefit of the doubt. And we let go of struggling with it or trying to make it any different than it is. Yeah, that's right. And just notice how that feels to let go of all the energy that you maybe use without even knowing it to micromanage the details of your moments. So we're just sitting here, we're just watching the breath, noticing the body, noticing the mind, the feelings, the emotions, maybe the energies. And we're allowing everything to just be as it is. You notice how that feels. And so now I just want you to quietly say to yourself, I want to tune in with my soul. You just say it. Just quietly say it to yourself. I want to tune in with my soul. And just notice if anything seems to kind of come online. As soon as you make that request, you might feel kind of like a little bit of an awakening happening in the heart, like an expansion. Or for some of us, it's more like kind of an opening in the crown or in the head. And it could be something different than that. But just this request, almost like a mini prayer. I want to tune into my soul, or I wish to connect with my soul. And just notice how that shows up, how that feels in your body. And if you're not feeling it, it's okay. We'll practice this. These are all practices which are well named because we just practice them. And that's how it becomes more and more second nature, and how we begin to attune to the intricacies. And now into this field, I'd like you to drop the question, what is my greatest aspiration? What is my greatest aspiration? And maybe it relates to the course, maybe it relates to your life, maybe it just relates to this moment. Just let your being interpret that however it needs to right now. What is my greatest aspiration? And like a pebble that we drop into a pond, we kind of drop the question into the top of the head and let it slowly make its descent down to wherever it lands. For some of us, it might be deep in the belly. For some, it might come to rest in the heart. And it makes ripples through our body. The energy of the question begins to create ripples in the body. And then maybe answers begin to arise, perhaps as words, perhaps as a feeling, perhaps as images. Beautiful. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes.